What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Friday, June 13th, Friday the 13th, 2025, and we are back with another live here on the Tori and Rain Reloaded channel. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you are new. And if you are new to the channel, I'm glad that you are here. Hit the bell twice to be notified whenever I upload a new video or go live. But before I get into that, if for any reason you didn't get a notification for the videos that I did today, that was not the act. I'm gonna be completely transparent with you. That is not the fault of YouTube. That is actually my fault. Basically, what happened is when I uploaded the videos, I switched the upload times. As y'all notice, y'all can see that the upload times was different because now I'm starting to really go by what my analytics say and try to go in that range where my video should fit as far as when I put them out there, because the other one was out of order. What I should have did was I should have removed them. I should have deleted them and then re-uploaded them with the new adjusted time. And then y'all would have got the notification, because I didn't get them either. Not for either video that went out there. I'll be shocked if you got the notification for this one. If you're in the Discord, however, then you did get the notification, or you should have at least. So if you didn't get the notification today for the other two videos that I put up earlier, that's why. So that's me taking accountability. But besides the point, I'm glad the people who are here so far. Shout out to everyone in the chat, all the mods, members, everybody on Patreon. If for any reason you can't catch this live in real time, shout out to the replay gang as well. Let's see, we got Reparations Nation, Wallow J, Dark Titan, RY, Robert Brown, Brother Man to You, Yirmiyah Ben Israel, SD Johnson, Kendall, Cameron Jones, Dewani, D Money, SD Johnson, Don P, and Tedra. Oh, Tedra says she got them from the Discord. See, that's why y'all need to be in that Discord. I'll keep trying to tell y'all. And also, again, shout out to everybody that's continuously contributing and voting in the polls. Y'all are doing amazing. The numbers are continuing to go up every day. I think the highest poll that was voted in had like about 50-something votes. So right now I think we're consistently staying in that 40 to 50ish range, which is fine, which is all good and everything like that. Of course, you know, there will be a new poll that will be going up tomorrow. I'm gonna say this now, and I'll say it at the end. Tomorrow you will be getting not one but two Triple P videos, and both of them have to do with these Trump-loving Latinos who are getting their wake-up call right now. So I know y'all will be very looking forward to those that will be coming tomorrow. But today, or this evening rather, we're going to be talking about this controversial statement, or should I say statements, that was made by this tennis player by the name of Aryna Sabelenka. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. As y'all know or may not know, Coco Gauff won her first French Open of her career. So congratulations and shout out to her. Very much well deserved. And she beat Aryna Sabelenka. And Aryna made these comments during her post-match interview that had a lot of people calling her a sore loser and basically bashing her for her statement, as they should. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over, or we're going to look at Aryna's post-match interview in which she makes the statement, because I actually only had the part where she makes the statement, but the video would have only been about 2 minutes. And I said, now we got to stretch this out. But I found the whole interview. The whole interview itself is about 8 minutes and 50 seconds long. Then I have Coco's post interview as well, which came after hers, in which she responded to what Aryna said. Her video is about 15 minutes. I'm speeding it up. And then I'm going to go over the statement that Aryna made after she received the backlash. And then after we do all of that, I'll drop the link and we'll go in that order. Wait, so Tedra said, I saw you in the One Beat chat the other day, and I thought it would be cool if you did a collab with him when you do the jam session. Well, if he's available that day, that would be dope. If he's available that particular day, because you got to think, me and him, we on 2 different time zones. So he would have to be available at the time that I plan on doing it, which will most likely be in the evening, like around this time, maybe a little bit earlier, because it's going to run long, because it's so many categories. So it's probably going to be like at 6 in the evening, which is 6 my time, 3 p.m. his time. But if if he is available, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm sure he wouldn't be opposed to it either, considering this is his lane, of expertise as far as Black music goes. But we're going to go ahead now. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to go over what Aryna said. And the title of the video says Aryna Sabelenka, and her quote is quoted as Coco Gauff didn't play incredible. So let's go ahead now and see what she is about to say.
Result anybody will want today.
Yeah.
But just looking back at the 2 weeks, how proud of you are yourself and reaching the final here?
Well, yeah, I have to say in the past 2 weeks I played really tough matches, really incredible players, and I played definitely better level than in the final. It was really, honestly, the worst tennis I played in the last I don't know how many months, and the conditions were terrible, and she simply was better in these conditions than me, and I think it was the worst final I ever played.
Now I want y'all to hold on to the part where she's stating about playing in these conditions, because that's going to be brought up again. I want y'all to hang on to when she said something about playing in these conditions, and then she said Coco was like playing in those conditions as well.
Commiserations. I just wondered why you think you weren't able to manage the conditions and she was able to do that a bit better.
No, sometimes that happens, you just wake up and you don't feel your best, and another player go for whatever, and it works, and for you nothing is working. And I was struggling a lot, and I was trying my best to figure the way how to play in these conditions, but I guess today wasn't the day.
How much do you think this was just completely about you and how you were playing, and was she making you do things that made you play worse than you would have wanted to play? And how does she do that and make things difficult for you?
But
basically, the reporters are now throwing it the reporters are gonna lean in on her saying about those playing those conditions, because they're gonna constantly keep bringing that up. Like, okay, you say you couldn't play in these conditions, but she was able to play in these conditions and she was still able to win, or she was able to still perform. So are you sure it's just the conditions, or was it you? Because they're trying to pull out of her like, okay, you can say it's these conditions all you want, but if she was able to play in these conditions and not slack, then it must be something wrong or off with you. It's not the conditions per se, or at least not 100% those conditions that you were playing in.
by running and playing those high balls from the frame, and she was moving really well in these tough conditions. I couldn't really mix it up, and it was tricky. It was tricky in these conditions to do stuff that I was doing, for example, in Madrid, that I don't have to do against her to get the win. And today was just I mean, honestly, sometimes it felt like she was hitting the ball from the frame. Somehow magically the ball lands in the court, and you kind of like on the back foot, and it's just like,
it wasn't magic. It wasn't magic. That was just skill. Interesting. She chalked it up to saying something about magic. No, I don't think Coco has those kind of powers. I mean, she's physically skilled on that court, and it shows. But I don't think it was anything to do with magic.
It felt like a joke, honestly, like someone from a booth was just like staying there laughing and like, oh, let's see if you can handle this, and I couldn't today, and I really hope the next time we play, if it's going to be the same conditions, I'm gonna play probably a little bit smarter, not overrush things, and try to stay there and try to fight.
Any further questions?
Good evening, Aryna. You are very hard on yourself, but do you think there was a momentum shift in the first set, because you started the match really well? You led 4-1. What happened at 4-1? Do you think that Coco got better, or the conditions got tougher?
Yeah, I think it was more windy and got more windy, and also I think I was over emotional, and I think today I didn't really handle myself quite well mentally, I would say. So basically that's it. I was just making unforced errors. Like, I don't know, I have to check the statistics. I think she won the match not because she played incredible, just because I made all of those mistakes from.
There it is. Now that's the part right there, what she just said right there, that small pocket, what she just said, that's the part that went viral. The reporter asked her about, was Coco better than her? Did you think she just played better? She couldn't even bring herself to say that. her ego and her pride would not allow her to say Coco played better. She just says she didn't play incredible. But that part right there is the part that had people crash out on her, and rightfully so. She could not give this young lady her credit. It just had to be something else to why Coco won, even though she was best than her most of the match, and Coco came back and beat her.
Like if you look from the outside, kind of like from an easy balls.
Aryna, bad luck today. Obviously, in your career, you've had to go through a lot of tough moments and tough losses that have allowed you to be successful. So, what will you take from this loss to make you better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's another tough final in the Grand Slam against Coco. Another terrible performance from me against Coco in the final, and yeah, I have to just kind of like step back and look at this from the perspective and try to finally learn the lesson, because I cannot go out there every time against her in the finals of the Grand Slam and play such terrible tennis and give those wins, not easily, but like emotionally, you know.
Hi, Aryna. Obviously, there is another Grand Slam around the corner. Perhaps that helps a little bit to get over this one. I just wonder, when you have a disappointment like this, do you watch it back, or would you just rather forget all about it?
No, I already have a flight booked to Mykonos and alcohol, sugar, and you know, I just need a couple of days to completely forget about this crazy world and this crazy. If I could swear, I would swear right now, but this crazy thing that happened today, I think everyone understands.
I think she's more embarrassed because of who she lost to and how she lost. I mean, to be up by that much to the point where she could have almost won, and then you let your opponent come from the bottom and literally do a comeback like that, that's going to be one for the books. And then it's her first French Open win at that. So I think it's also a feeling of being embarrassed on a world stage like that, because the French Open is no just random small match. It's a big deal. It's not Wimbledon big, but it is one of those big matches that you have to compete in order to get there. Yes, the French Open is outside. Most tennis matches are outside.
I'm just trying to be very polite right now, but you know, there is no other word, you know, that could describe what just happened today on the court. But yeah, tequila, gummy bears.
Let me just say, y'all petty in this chat. I just wanted to say that. I'm reading the comments as I'm listening.
And I don't know, swimming, being like the tourist for a couple of days.
Questions?
How much would you compare this defeat to the one you suffered in the Australian Open in January? Do you think they are comparable or totally different matches?
In different ways, I can actually see the same thing. It just, the level was much better in the third set against Keys. She just basically overhit and went for crazy shots, and it went in. She, like, kind of like overpowered me in the last couple of games. And today was just, you know, she literally just put an extra ball on the other side than I did. So. But yeah, I definitely have to, you know, like step back and learn something, because I cannot keep doing the same mistake.
Now, listen to what she just said when they was asking her when she played in the Australian Open against another opponent. Now, I don't know the ethnicity of this other opponent, but from the name, from the sound of the name, they sound PC. She literally gave that person their credit for beating them there, but when it came to Coco, it wasn't. She just didn't play incredible. Like, she just lost it. In so many words in layman terms, it was a technicality. Brother man, you said, did Coco give a speech on an interview? Yes, we're going to go over that. After hers is done, we're going to go over Coco's, because hers is right after this. But I wanted to go over this first because Coco's interview was after hers, because she did like a response to hers, because somebody had asked her a question, I guess, in relation to this interview. So I didn't want to play it backwards.
Aryna, could you just explain what it was about the conditions that was so difficult? Was it the wind? Was it kind of the...
Like I told you, the minute that she said something about them conditions, they were going to lean on that. Like, because notice a good 90% of the questions that she's being asked is all about them conditions that she's there. Because so the reporters, those interviewers, those journalists, they are constantly going to continue asking her those conditions questions, because she opened it up for it to be asked.
The coolness, was it combo?
You know, it was quite funny because it was like wind going like crazy crazy, like how you say, how you call it, like that direction. Yeah, just like straight. And sometimes he would kind of like settle, and then during the point, like it was a joke for real. Like when she would hit the ball, at some point the wind would just like let the ball fly like crazy, and I was late every time. Plus clay court, plus like a bit of wrong bounce.
You know what it really also boils down to? I think a lot of people in the tennis world were waiting the day when they heard the words from Venus and Serena Williams, but especially Serena, "I'm retiring." Because they was like, oh, thank God we don't have to worry about playing against her anymore, because they always saw her as a huge stumbling block, a hurdle rather, against her and her sister. But then out from the shadows came Coco Gauff. And she's young. She has a lot of years. I think Coco was like, what, 20 something? Early 20s at that, maybe 20. I'm not sure exactly, but she's very, very young. She was born in the 2000s. I'll put it like that. So now it's like, oh God, we had to deal with years of the Williams sisters. Now we got to deal with her.
Bounces, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, probably I had to like go like really, really far behind and just like start like playing those slopes. Maybe would really help me, but yeah, I wasn't in a good condition.
Keep this in mind, y'all. Coco played in these same conditions and she didn't have an issue. She was down and came back.
To kind of like think smart.
Any last questions?
Oh, you just 21? Okay, figure.
I mean, tennis is such a hard sport. Even when you win, you lose, almost half the points. Do you think you'd like to sort of improve on being a little kinder to yourself, or accepting the lack of perfection, and I guess things along those lines? Just because
what's going on, Pam?
In any match you're going to lose points in games and things like that, and how you deal with those things. Is that a work in progress for you?
Well, I have to say I've been doing really well with that. In the last I don't know, couple of years. It's just like sometimes you go to the old habit, and yeah, sometimes that happen, and I guess you just have to one more time step back, learn, and go out there and be better, But right now I don't see how can I be easy on myself, because it's honestly, guys, it's the worst match I played in the last couple months. It's just a joke, and I cannot do that anymore. So in the finals,
she said this was the worst match she's played in the last couple of months. Even with the matches that she's lost, she said this was the worst one she played in. We can think of a couple reasons as to why that is.
I wouldn't care if I would play like that in, I don't know, fourth round or quarterfinals, but in the final of the Grand Slam.
Pam, I don't know how many times she played against Coco. Can someone let me know? I don't know how many. Listen, I don't follow tennis like that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't. So I don't know how many times they played against each other. But she said this is the worst match she's ever lost in the last couple months.
Like, it's a bit not right.
But is it harder because it's the final of the Grand Slam? I mean, these events are so much bigger than.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, especially when you've been playing really great tennis during the whole week. You've been playing against a lot of tough opponents, Olympic champion Iga, and then you go out and you play really bad. Like, I don't know. I think Iga, if Iga would win me another day, I think she would go out today and she would get the win. It just, like, yeah, it just hurts. Honestly, it hurts. Like, been playing really well, and then in the last match, go out there and perform like I did.
All right, so that is her interview right there. Let me stop sharing my page right quick so I can set up Coco's interview, which actually popped up right on the screen. So that makes it even better. Hold on, y'all. Let me press this and pull this up, and we can watch what Coco had to say, the French Open champ. Because like I said, I played hers first because Coco does respond to what she said, which tells me she was interviewed first, which I don't know why, considering that she didn't win. But okay, it is what it is. So let me make sure I have the speed correct. Pam said Aryna has lost to Coco 6 times in their head-to-head matchups. It says Coco has won 6 out of their 10 matches. Huh? And this was the worst one she lost to her in? Yeah, she probably tired of her. Like I said, the best things that he heard coming out of Serena Williams' mouth was, I'm retiring. What they didn't expect was going to be someone coming right up in her footsteps, and that be this woman, this young lady right here. Like I said, I'm glad y'all are putting all the tennis stats in the chat because I don't follow tennis. So I'm glad that y'all are putting, stuff in there to keep me afloat or abreast rather to what's going on as far as their matchup. So it's almost seeming to me like they're trying to make them what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say enemies, rivals. Is almost the way that y'all is explaining in the chat. It's almost like they're trying to make her and Coco rivals. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting.
Yeah, it really came down to the last few points, but overall, I'm just really happy with the fight that I managed today. It wasn't pretty, but it got the job done, and that's all that matters.
Congratulations, Coco. Well played. Just how bad were the conditions on court? Because from where we sit, we never really feel the wind. So can you just describe to us what it was like on court? Was it kind of going one way or swirling? And how difficult was it? Aryna described the conditions as terrible.
Yeah, it was really difficult, especially like on the far end of the court. It was so hard to hit the ball and get it through the court. And then the other side, if you didn't accelerate, it would fly. It was really like my first round match. It felt very similar to that. So I knew what to expect. I didn't know if the roof was going to be open or closed to about like 30, 40 minutes before the match. And after playing my last 2 matches indoor, it was definitely a different experience. And yeah, I knew it wasn't going to be easy for either of us.
Well done, Coco.
Thanks.
So how is this one different than the first one in terms of like emotionally what you went through when it was over, what it's been like the last hour, and just sort of what it feels like? I guess part of it. I mean, how is it the same, and how might it be different, and what does it do for you?
Yeah, obviously, I think the first one was maybe more emotional, but I think this one was just harder because you win one and you just don't want to get satisfied with just that one. So it was very difficult to match up. And I also felt like, this one was one I really wanted because I do think this was one of the tournaments that when I was younger, that I felt that I had the best shot of winning. So I just felt like if I went through my career and didn't get at least one of these, I would feel regrets and stuff. So today playing Aryna, I was just like, I just got to go for it and try my best to get through the match. And yeah, that's what I did.
And let me just tell y'all right now, before I let her finish continuing, tennis is not an easy sport to play. I mean, I'm sure y'all can look at it and tell that it's not. It's a lot of physical movement. It's a lot of eye and arm coordination. You're like, that's a lot of stress on the body. It's a full core, full body workout. You are literally using your entire body when you're playing tennis. You're using your eyes, you're using your head, you're using your hands, your arms, your forearms, your core, your legs, most definitely. So I can only imagine how tired Coco is sitting right here doing this interview. She is probably exhausted. I can tell because she has her hat on, probably so people can't see that her eyes are low, but she's tired. If she probably is like, I just want to go take a shower and maybe snack on something and go to sleep. It's a very physically demanding sport. Kudos to those who participate, whether on a professional level or on an amateur level.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
You mentioned in your trophy ceremony having dark thoughts. I think it's a phrase you used after your 2022 final here. Can you just talk through, I guess, on paper, it looks like you've kind of had this perfect career. You won second Grand Slam by 21, but there have been some harder moments. Can you just talk about that and what sort of made those thoughts come up as you were standing there with the trophy today?
Yeah, I just remembered, that ceremony when Iga won. I just remember trying to take it all in and pay attention to every detail and just feel like I wanted that experience for myself. And so when the anthem got played, I vividly remember watching her pretty emotional when the Polish anthem got played. And I was like, wow, that's such a...
And let me also just say that I'm so glad that she won this, because if y'all don't remember, I can't remember, was it last year's Olympics? Was the Olympics last year? I know the Olympics was last year. I'm just saying, was it the Olympics last year? Was it the Olympics last year in Paris where some weird stuff happened and she couldn't compete? Or someone let me know in the chat. It was some weird stuff that happened with her and people was questioning it and people was upset. I forgot what it was. Someone let me know in the chat.
Such a cool moment. So when Anthem got played today, I kind of had those reflections, and yeah, it was a tough time. I was doubting myself, wondering if I would ever be able to succumb, especially my mentality going into that match. I was crying like before the match and like so nervous and like literally couldn't breathe and stuff. So I was like, if I can't handle this, how am I going to handle it like again? And then obviously US Open happened, which I think that created that reaction. And now I just felt really ready today. And I was like, I'm just going to leave it all out there. And regardless of what happens, I can leave proud.
Hello, Coco. Congratulations.
Thank you.
4-1 double break first set. I would like to know how you felt at this moment, both emotionally and tennistically. What had to be done to change the score?
Yeah, honestly, I felt my timing was so off in the beginning with the wind and stuff, and I was just getting every point, and I was down double break against Madison Keys, so I had thoughts of that match as well, and just felt like I could use that experience that today. So I really think that match helped me today. It was kind of a similar score line. Honestly, it was lost that set 7-6. If you swap the last two sets, it would be the same score line. So, or almost the same score line. So yeah, I think I was recounting on that match for today.
Yeah, Coco, I remember talking to you and your parents a few years ago, and there was talk of French lessons and slinging some French out there. Did that cross your mind? Were you tempted to give it a shot at the ceremony or not?
Yeah, I thought about saying at the ceremony how I really tanked on my French, because I was like, I've thought for so long when I was studying French that I would do this in French, and I completely tanked on that. So maybe if I get another opportunity, I could try again. At least, for sure, I don't think I can do a whole speech, but maybe at least like a good something to say to the French crowd. I thought about writing something, because when I can read it, it's better. But off the top of my head, no, I thought about writing something before the match, but I didn't want to jinx it, so I didn't do it.
Hi, Coco. Congratulations. Sometimes it seems like losing a tight first set, as you did today, almost makes you more likely to go on and win a tennis match. Like, this kind of pattern of matches happened to you quite a lot. Like, how do you feel after losing a heartbreaking lengthy set like that? How do you kind of make it more likely to go on and win the match?
Yeah, I mean, obviously first just disappointment, especially because I had so many chances in that tiebreaker, and obviously she played well and when it mattered in that set. And yeah, I just kind of was just like, well, I got to try again and not play the same way. I was trying to be more aggressive in the second set, which it worked. And then the third, I mean, I knew she was going to raise her level, which she came out playing well at that first game. And so I was just like, I have to try to match it. And yeah, just run. I mean, I know it's so hard to out hit her. So I was trying my best to put her on defense, but with the win and stuff, you know, I felt it was also more important to try to get as many balls in the court as possible, just because it was tough to like plant your feet. The ball was moving so much. Some shots that I felt really comfortable on a normal day felt awful today.
Hi there, Coco. Aryna has been in and made it clear how frustrating she found the conditions, the wind. How aware were you of what was going on over the other side of the court there in her mind and with her body language? And does that form part of maybe the tactics in a way to try to get her feeling more like that?
Yeah, I was aware a little bit, but also like I don't pay attention too much, especially against Aryna, because I've seen her get mad and then go on a tear. So I was just trying not to pay attention to it today. I knew I was frustrated, maybe if I didn't show it as much, but I was visible like, oh, I think I in my head I was frustrated, and I know if I'm frustrated, then my opponent has to be frustrated. So
let me just stop her right there. She says that Aryna has been known to go like and crash out. Now, to those who watch tennis, I'm sure y'all can confirm that. Now, she says that she's gotten frustrated, but she had to not do it. She said, I had to just let it like happen in my mind, but not show it. And I know why. Because remember what happened when Serena would crash out and what they would say about her and the pictures and all the memes and stuff that would pop up about her? I can only imagine if Coco got upset and was about to break her racket out of frustration, what they would have said about her, that would have probably taken over her win. So she had to reserve her frustrations on the physical front and keep them internal, while Aryna is able to exude hers physically out front and nobody really says anything.
So yeah, it was not a day for great tennis, honestly. I don't know too many people that could play great tennis today, but you know, it's part of.
Pam said Aryna's the ultimate crash out. Is she like that male tennis player? What is his name? That the one that's always crashing out. Wasn't he? I think he that one male tennis player, I forget his name, and I did a whole video about him a couple years ago. Didn't he like throw his racket or something? Like, I think he threw his racket. What was that man's name? Can somebody who follows tennis in the chat let me know who this guy was? He has a foreign sounding name. I don't know if it was Andre Agassi. I don't think it was McEnroe. I forget his name. Oh my God. And it's gonna annoy me that I don't know it. No, I don't think it was. No, not Andre Agassi. You said John McEnroe. I don't think it was him. I think it was some. You know, I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up because I don't think it was John McEnroe. It was somebody else.
The sport and part of playing outside, you just don't know what to expect, especially in Paris.
And just to follow up on that, congratulations. Do you though take pride almost in seeing when you see an opponent who is kind of getting frustrated or struggling with the conditions, does that kind of give you a little bit of a lift?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it doesn't give me much of a lift, just because it wasn't great. So yeah, obviously when you see your opponent frustrated in any circumstance, if it's tough or not, obviously it does uplift you just because you know that they're frustrated. But like today, it wasn't anything that I was paying attention to too much, just because.
This is who I was thinking of. What G Money Hollywood said right there, Djokovic. That's who I'm thinking of. That guy. I knew it was a foreign sounding name, but that's who not saying nothing against that John McEnroe person, but this is who I was talking about, Djokovic. I forget his first name, but that's the guy who I was thinking of. And ironically, as I was Googling, they said that this other tennis player by the name of Cameron Norrie is also known for crashing out and tossing that racket. And ironically, the person that they mentioned next to him was Aryna Sabelenka. They said those two right there had been in the news for throwing their rackets. And they said Norrie actually accidentally struck a spectator during his defeat in the ASB Classic in Auckland, while Aryna smashed her racket after losing the Australian Open final. Novak, that's his name, Novak Djokovic. But I appreciate y'all for helping me find that name, because it was irking me that I couldn't figure it out.
I feel like she's the type of player that lets that frustration out and then can play some great tennis. So I was just not really focused on her this much and more so focused on me.
Hi, Coco.
Thanks.
Congratulations. How's it like to lift that trophy? Is it a bit heavy? I saw you kind of suffering holding the trophy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Do you have a special place for it?
Well, they give us a little small one. So this one is heavy. I was trying to see which one was heavier, this one or US Open. They're both heavy. They kind of look the same now that I'm looking at it up close. But it feels great to lift it. Honestly, being on the podium is really cool. I like how they do that. Makes you feel like on top of the world and stuff. So that was definitely a moment I won't forget, in a crowd full of people too.
Incredible accomplishment, Coco. Well
Thank
done.
you.
It's interesting you spoke about hearing the Polish anthem a few years back, and now today you seem to be struck by the Star Spangled Banner. I know you're a tennis player first and foremost, but can you speak about what it's like traveling the world as an American? Have you reflected on that? What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. And, obviously there's a lot going on in our country right now with things like everything. Yeah, I'm sure you guys know. But just to be able to be a representation of that, and a representation of, I guess, people that look like me in America who maybe don't feel as supported during this time period. And so just being that reflection of hope and light for those people. And I remember, after the election and everything, it was a kind of felt down period a little bit and things like that. And my mom told me, like, during Riyadh, just try to win the tournament just to give something for people to smile for. And so that's what I was thinking about today when holding that, and then seeing the flags in the crowd means a lot. And, some people may feel some type of way about being patriotic and things like that, but I'm definitely patriotic. I'm proud to be American, and I'm proud to represent, the Americans that look like me and people who kind of support the things that I support.
Hi, Coco. Congrats.
Thanks.
Your first tag was for Spike Lee.
Yes.
He was mad about you all the match.
Yes.
Can you describe your relationship with him?
Honestly, the only time that was the first time I really met him up close. I seen him at my matches at US Open. And then when I saw him on the court today, I saw him when I was warming up. They panned the camera to him in the gym when I was warming up. And I was like, oh my gosh, Spike Lee's there. And then I kind of felt bad because I usually put my towel in that spot, which is why I feel like he sat there. But because, the lower ranked player gets the other box, I put my towel in the other box. And then when I saw him on the court, I was like, if I win this match, the first person I'm going to dap up is Spike Lee. And so once I won the match, I went on the ground and everything. I was headed straight to Spike Lee. And yeah, I wanted to tell him, I had to do it, even though the Knicks didn't win. I'm glad I gave him something to cheer for. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I haven't seen the video yet, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, Coco, at the start you said it was about willpower and mental strength. What seemed noticeable is that you didn't seem to, I would say, panic or...
Ryvon said, forgive me if I mispronounced your name, said, is Spike Lee short? Are pigs pink? Spike Lee is short. I'm surprised you even asked that question. But yeah, Spike Lee is short. There's not enough camera pans in the world to make that man appear tall. I'm just telling you. There's not enough worm's eye view shots that could make that man appear to be tall in any capacity.
Given to any nerves at any time, maybe you were feeling them. Was that a key part of your victory, was to keep that was mental strength really high level?
Yeah, especially in that last game, I was like definitely freaking out and stuff, and also serving on the other side of the court where it's harder to serve, I think. So I was definitely just trying my best to stay calm, and if I wasn't going to show it, but I was feeling it, but I was just trying to breathe and get through them and just remember my fundamentals.
Hi. Finals in Madrid, in Rome, you won here. You made a lot of matches on clay courts. And which are your programs before Wimbledon? We will take some day off. Or what is the preparation for Wimbledon?
Honestly, I haven't thought that far ahead. Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to take some days off for sure. I'm signed up for Berlin right now. We'll see, if I play or not. This part of the season is new just because of the fact that it's so short and I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll have that conversation with my team and take their opinions and see what they think's best. But for sure, I'm going to rest and enjoy it and not go into training too quickly just because I feel like, this stuff doesn't happen too often. So just got to enjoy it.
Coco, congrats.
Thank you.
You talk a lot about perspective and that there's a lot worse things happening in the world than people losing in Grand Slam finals.
Yeah.
And I know you're trying to become a better person. That's what it's all about. But do you think that it actually helps you in these big moments, in front of these big moments on the tennis court?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, after I lost the first set, I told myself, like, I'll just give it my all. And, if I lose this match, then at least I can say I gave it all out there, and I'll go home and get to see my boyfriend and everything like that. And honestly, I've been telling myself that every day. Obviously, I'd love to be here. I'd love to win. But, sometimes you realize, if you lose, whatever, not whatever. I mean, I hate losing, but you know what I mean? It's you go home, you reset. So today, when I lost that first set, I was just like, try not to put too much pressure on the match. And yeah, I think it worked. I was able to loosen up after that and play a little bit freer.
Congratulations, Coco. When Aryna sat here, she said that she thinks if Iga had won her, she wins the thing today because of how the match turned up. Do you think the way you play today, you beat anyone? Doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net?
She said if Iga won, if I play Iga in the final.
She said that if we go, she didn't mention exactly winning you, but she said if Iga won me, she would won the thing.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I'm here sitting here, and last time I played, no, like to Iga or anything, but I played her and I won in straight sets. So,
there you go. There it is. That was the part I was waiting for. I was like, I wonder where they're going to get to that question. So there it is, right there. She says, I don't agree with that. She said, let me replay that part one more time. That question.
You beat anyone? Doesn't matter who's on the other side of the net?
She said if Iga won, if I play Iga in the final.
She said that if we go, she didn't mention exactly winning you, but she said if Iga won me, she would won the thing.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I'm here sitting here, and last time I played, no, like to Iga or anything, but I played her and I won in straight sets. So, yeah, I don't think that's a fair thing to say because anything can really happen. And yeah, honestly, I mean, the way Aryna was playing the last few weeks, she was the favorite to win. So I think she was the best person that I could have played in the final. Her being #1 in the world, she was the best person to play. So I think I got the hardest matchup.
Well, there it is right there. She said she was the one to beat. She was #1 in the world. And then Coco is down and comes back and beats her like that. So like I said, it's definitely an envy thing. It's probably some jealousy there. But more importantly, or moreover, it's an embarrassment thing. I think that is what it boils down to.
Just if you go off stats alone, obviously Iga being a champion here, it was going to be a tough match either way. But yeah, I think regardless of who I played, I think I had a good shot to win, and I definitely had that belief. And if you ask me, like, honestly speaking to you guys who I wanted to play, it was Iga, just because I felt Aryna was playing so good, and she was. So, but also Iga is a tough opponent too. So honestly, neither of them would have been a better shot, but it played out how it played out, and yeah, that's why I'm here today.
Yeah, you did well anyway.
Thanks.
I just wanted to ask you about your parents. You went up to see them there, and I know you were talking about going to escape rooms with them and stuff during the tournament, and your mom has been traveling with you a lot, and your dad's around more hidden a lot of times too. Just what has their support meant to you, sort of guiding you through? Because you've been in this, it's hard to remember how young you still are sometimes because you've been on this road a long time and they've been there by your side the whole way.
Yeah, it's meant a lot to me. And, they're definitely someone who listens to my opinion the most. And I think, sometimes we hear crazy stories and tennis parents and all that. And I can say I don't relate to that. I've asked my dad to take a step back, and he did, and ended up being a great thing for both of us. And my mom, I needed her to be on the road more, just to have, especially, well, I have my physio, but, being in a team full of men, I was like, I need some estrogen and some female energy here. So I asked my mom to go. And, women just notice more things. So yeah, hugging them at the end. My mom was pretty emotional. My dad was just happy. My dad cried at US Open. He didn't cry here. So I didn't think they were going to cry. But yeah, honestly, it's just been so great to have them and be able for them to experience. They put so much sacrifice into this. So I'm glad that I get to experience with them.
All right. So that was the end of that. Again, shout out to Coco Gauff for her growing accomplishments, I should say. But before I get into the article, while they were talking, I noticed that Coco had mentioned that she had a boyfriend. So I said, let me just go ahead because, just be a little bit nosy for the family, and look that up for y'all, and y'all can take a sigh of relief. Because I know y'all probably like, oh God, what I'm about to see. Because I know how y'all are, unless y'all already know. That is Coco and her boyfriend. His name is Jalen Sarah. And it's funny, his name is Jalen because he kind of almost looks like Jaden Daniels, who plays for the Commanders. But yes, that is her boyfriend right there. All I did was I just went to Google and I just typed in Coco Gauff boyfriend, and so a lot of other pictures popped up. But this was when I found with them together, even though it's clearly Photoshop. So y'all can breathe a little bit. But anyway, now that I showed that, I have one more thing that I'm going to go over, and it's this article right here. That was posted on June 9th. It says, Aryna Sabelenka addresses her controversial comments about Coco Gauff after her French Open loss. This is the #1 tennis player, won the first set in a tiebreaker. It says, Aryna Sabelenka is walking back her comments after losing to Coco Gauff, and I knew she would because people was on her derriere. The world #1, who battled windy conditions and a light mist in the final against the 21-year-old American, initially told reporters that Gauff, quote, won the match not because she played incredible, but because she says, I made all of those mistakes. After a day of reflection and amid backlash from her statement, the Belarusian player offered a different stance following her 6-7, 6-2, and 6-4 loss. Yesterday was a tough one. Coco handled the conditions much better than I did and fully deserved the win. Aryna, age 27, on Instagram told everyone on Sunday, June 8th. She was the better player yesterday, and I want to give her the credit she earned. You all know me. I'm always going to be honest and human in how I process these moments. I made over 70 unforced errors, so I can't pretend it was a great day for me. Now, why didn't she just say that in her press conference and not lead with what she said initially? That's why some people are going to look at this and say, you could have kept that. If you would have led with this, then it's like, okay, you don't come off as a sore loser. If she would have said this, we wouldn't even be on this live right now. It's a Sabalenka continue, but both things can be true. I didn't play my best, and Coco stepped up and played with poise and purpose. She earned that title. Respect, time to rest, learn, and come back stronger. In the 3-set loss to Gauff, Sabalenka served frequently and went astray as if the wind carried it. At times, she showed her exasperation, throwing the ball angrily in the direction of a ball girl and then spiking it on the ground in another instance when the match took a turn after she won the first tiebreaker. And then it goes on and on and on. So, yeah, that's what she came back with, but too little, too late. Right, damage control. That's exactly what it was. But y'all know what time it is, y'all. It is time to drop the link. If anybody would like to come up and speak to this right here, the link is right there in the chat. The link is in the chat if anybody would like to come up and speak to the topic. Again, shout out to everybody that is here in the chat. Make sure if you haven't done so already, make sure y'all hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm surprised that Wallow ain't hit the link yet unless Wallow not in the chat. He's probably not in the chat right now. If I don't have anybody come up within the next couple of minutes, then I'll just go ahead and end the live. Yachty said utter disrespect interviewing the loser first. Well, somebody just informed me, like I said, I'm not familiar with tennis. Somebody said that in tennis, it's customary that they interview the person who lost first and then the person who won. Because as you can see, when they interviewed Aryna, she didn't get that much speaking time. Her interview was like a little over 8 minutes, where Coco's hers was almost 16, was almost double. So, like I said, I don't follow tennis like that. I can only go off of what people who follow it say in the chat. Elizabeth says she is a sore loser. Otherwise, you just say congrats to the person, move on. Yeah, exactly. With her statement that she gave after she got called out on, because let's be real here, that's the only reason she made that follow-up statement. If she would have led with that, then I wouldn't even be doing a live right now. Well, I probably would be, but not on this. All right, we got someone that just came up. Mansa Musa, what's going on? Your mic is muted. Mansa Musa, if you are talking right now, okay, I can hear you now. There's a lot of movement going on.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
I'm struggling right now. Dang. I'm struggling.
If you speak, I can't really hear you. If you're saying something, I can't really hear you.
All right. Well, I ain't got much to say, really.
Okay.
Apparently she's a sore loser, but it just goes to show that a lot of people just can't take what they can dish out. So, I mean, if you can't take what you can dish out, then why are you even in the profession you're doing?
Right.
All right. Thank you. Just phone acting up, so I'm gonna get up out of here. So I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I can't hear you on my phone.
It's coming in and out. Yeah, it's not like you're like when you're speaking, it's like it goes in and out. Like you say something and it goes quiet, and you say something and it goes quiet. All right, but I appreciate you coming up.
You know what? I'm gonna get up out of here. It is.
Okay. I shout out to Mansa Musa for coming up. If anybody else, I'll drop the link again just in case anybody might have missed it. Yermia said they are still looking for the great white. Well, that's the interesting thing, though. Tennis is majority white, whether it's white people from here or from around the globe. Tennis is still, all these years later, a majority white sport. So I don't know why they're looking for a quote unquote great white hope in tennis. They're the majority and have been for quite some time, probably since the inception. All right, let's see. We got another person. Ahan, what's going on?
What's good? What's good, Torrin? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
I just want to say straight up, you were good for the most part with most of the tennis facts, but yeah, when it comes to like John McEnroe, and Novak Djokovic, you're right. Djokovic, I think, is the latest crash out.
Yeah, because like I remember that's why I was trying to figure out who it was, because I said when y'all kept saying John McEnroe, I said no, it's not him, because the person I'm thinking of has a foreign sounding name, but I just couldn't think of his name because I did a video about him about a couple years ago about a major crash out that he had, because it was so crazy that it made world news.
Right.
It was one of those things where they couldn't bury it. It was because it's like once the news got a hold of it, that thing took off. And I guess they probably tried to do damage control, but it was too late. I forgot what he did. But ever since, like when I think of tennis and crash outs, he always comes to mind, because I think he has a tendency to crash out, not only because of the match, but I know that I think he's known for even going at his opponents, like trying to fight them. Like, I mean, I'm like, is he playing tennis or is he trying to be in the octagon?
And I think it was around that time of the COVID too, because he also made something like some controversial statements about mask or whatever. But either way,
I think that probably was something else I remember reading about him too.
Right. But either way, you're right. He started like going off the deep end, and it's too bad because it was at that time like he was like you were saying, he was one of the best in the world, all that, and he just went off. But yeah, I'll just lay my plane there and just say, yeah, thanks, Torian. Appreciate because like you said, Coco, she won one of the 4 majors. Like I said, it's Australian, French, Wimbledon,
Wait,
US.
so now she's won the French Open. Someone said she won the US Open, so that means she only has to win 2 more.
Yep, the
So win all 4 of them. Okay.
Yeah, that the crown, as they call it. But yeah, but all right, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Stay blessed.
You too. Appreciate you coming up. Kwame said the media don't like Novak, though. He did not take. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that. I think that's another thing that stuck out to me about him, besides him being an obvious crash out. But yeah, the reason why I keep bringing that up is because whenever people like him or Aryna or the rest of them crash out, they see that as entertaining. But when Serena crashed out and broke that, I remember when she broke that racket, they found a way to make it controversial. They tried to make her paint her out to be the angry black woman. One thing I remember with Serena was when she went over to the person who calls the matches, you know, the one that sits in the chair, when she went and had a discussion with them, and they tried to make it seem like she was being so combative with this person, and it's like she was being calm, but they tried again to make her be out to be the angry black woman. That's why I went back to when Coco said she got frustrated, but she held it in, because I think internally she knew that if she did that, what the press would have said about her, despite her win, they would have focused heavily on that and not her accomplishment. But hopefully, you know, she goes all the way and she gets the last 2. That would be nice for her to get. And I think it's definitely within her grasp. And then after that, the only thing she'll have to do is go to the Olympics and get a gold medal, which again, it was so controversial with what happened at the last time she was at the Olympics, and they pulled that stunt or whatever it was, and she didn't even get to play in one match. Brother Man said the Wimbledon is next. A lot of upsets happen. Well, we'll see what happens. So she needs to win in Wimbledon, and she needs to win in the Australian Open. Well, I'm pulling for her, and the good thing is that she's young, so she has a wild, like she, you know, hopefully she gets it sooner rather than later. But it's not like she's gonna be hanging up her racket anytime soon, unless, you know what, I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to put something like that out into the universe. Let's just, you know, hope that she actually does accomplish that, which I think she has a very strong chance of doing. I mean, if she was able to pull this off, the sky's the limit. But anyway, it doesn't seem like there's going to be anybody else coming up this evening, but I do appreciate everyone that did come through for this live this evening. Shout out to everyone that came through. Shout out to the people that did come up and speak. Shout out to everyone in the chat, especially the mods, the members, everybody over there on Patreon. Again, if you are part of the replay gang, shout out to you. There will be another Black Music Month poll going up tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow there will be 2 videos coming up. The windows are actually up right now. Both of them are triple Ps, and they're basically going to be talking about the South of the Bordarians. Oh, by the way, I put a new triple P song in there. I'm not going to tell you what the song sound like, but trust me, when y'all hear it tomorrow and it's going to play in both videos, y'all going to be cracking up, probably more at the music rather than the story itself. Just giving y'all a heads up. But with that being said, everybody, y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Be safe, and most importantly, be one.